Are you looking to start a YouTube channel? Is your budget between $800 and $1,500? Do you want to have the capability of switching out lenses to faster lenses, or do you want to just have a built-in zoom? Let's talk about these two cameras that were released in 2020. First up, the XS10. The XS10 was released in November of 2020. It's a mirrorless camera. It's packed with a slew of features. It has 4K up to 30, 24 and 30. It does 1080p in 120 or 240 frames per second if you're looking for that slow-mo. It also does 10-bit 422 using an external recorder like the Atomos Ninja 5. It has several built-in color profiles that makes it a lot more flexible for editing, a lot more flexibility to not have to edit your colors. A lot of beautiful colors come out of this camera. Again, this is the XS10. It has the flip out screen. It has the 3.5mm jack for your microphones. It has, of course, the EVF. This one does have an EVF. It doesn't have all the extra dials that Fuji's known for, like the old classic film cameras. It has a dedicated record button. Both of these cameras have a dedicated record button. It also has a tally light on the front and one on the back. So you have a little toggle. It has your hot shoe, your cold shoe. And I'm using it with the 16mm f2.8 Fuji lens. That's what I use. That's usually what I use for my videos. Right now I'm shooting on the ZV-1, which comes with the standard lens. Before I get into the ZV-1, if you are liking my content, if you like this kind of content, talking about cameras, talking about gear, talking about tech, please don't forget to hit the like button for the video, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified anytime I drop a video. Again, the XS10 versus the ZV-1. Now let's get into the ZV-1. The ZV-1 was released in May of 2020, so a few months before the XS10 was released. A lot of people will probably say they're two different kinds of cameras, and they will be correct. The XS10 does great video and also does great photos. This does good photos if you needed it to, but the XS10 just feels more of a professional, more of a higher end photography camera. It's like right there underneath the X-T4 and X-T3. Really good cameras. So the ZV-1 is a point and shoot. See how small it is? It's tiny. This camera also does 4K up to 30. It does 1080p up to 960 frames per second, but the 960 frames per second are in bursts of like 5 seconds, a few seconds. So it might not be long enough for what you need it for. So I would stick to the 240 or the 120 like the XS10. It comes with this little dead cat that I have on the top, the wind muff. It also has a forward facing screen. It has your inputs and your outputs right here. It has your mic jack on the top. It has your charger / multi in the middle, and it has your micro HDMI on the bottom. I have some test footage that I took outside on this camera, the XS10, which is what I'm shooting on, and the ZV-1, just comparing them a little bit on their stabilization, the audio on the built-in microphones, with this, and the standard colors. Which colors do you like better? Both of them I'm shooting in standard. The first part of the video was again on the ZV-1 with their standard colors, no changes. Now I'm shooting on the XS10 with the standard colors, no changing at all to the colors. So again, ZV-1 I think is a very capable camera, and you'll see the intelligent auto built into this camera is amazing. It really was able to expose my face better. You're gonna see that the XS10, I try to put it in full auto to kind of have a level playing field. I had this in auto and that in auto to see which one will adjust to my face and to the lighting conditions outside. Let's go and check out what I did outside. Stay tuned for the whole video. At the end, I'm going to show some low light footage on both of these cameras. Again, this one shoots down to f1.8 at its widest focal length, f1.8. The XF 16mm only goes down to f2.8, which is what I have on my camera right now. So that's the difference in these two. This, you're gonna see how much more light this lets in at the same ISO, same shutter speed, but faster f-stop. And which one has more noise? You'll be surprised. Let's go outside and see what it looks like. The stabilization, let's see what it sounds like as far as the internal microphones with, and then the standard colors. So let's go outside, check it out, and come back. All right, here I am testing the ZV-1 and the XS10. XS10, ZV-1. Right now we're testing two things. The stabilization, right now both of them are turned off, and the wind noise. The internal mics, how are they both doing? I'm sure you're picking up a lot of wind noise. There's nothing covering them, no wind noise filter on or anything. This is just outside, straight out of the box. You're starting to record on the ZV-1. How does it sound? Just walking back and forth on the ZV-1. Internal microphones with no wind muff, no nothing, no filter, no nothing. This is on the ZV-1. How does the ZV-1 sound? No wind muff, no nothing. I have it on auto, so I'm not sure how well my face is being lit, but you know, we're just trying to see the difference. Stable, I'm walking on some unstable ground. How's the stabilization doing? Looking okay. XS10, ZV-1. Let's cover up these mics and put an external mic on the XS10. I'll be right back. All right, now we're testing another two things. This time we're testing with the stabilization on both of them. Stabilization on the ZV-1, how does it look? Stabilization on the XS10, how does that look? Also, I plugged in an external microphone on the XS10, and on the ZV-1 I covered it with the little dead cat that comes with it. How's the framing? I know the ZV-1 crops in. How's that doing? I look like a crazy person, I don't care. All these people are probably walking past me, driving past me, like what is he doing? Anyway, back to it. The ZV-1, how's it looking? My arm is not fully extended, it's pretty bent. I have it more faced towards me. ZV-1, how's the stabilization? Is it pretty stable? The XS10, how's the stabilization on there? Is it pretty stable? Is it wonky? Is it crazy looking on the screen? Looks okay. There's no built-in stabilization on the XF 16mm f2.8, which is the lens that I'm using. And there's no IBIS on the ZV-1, just digital. So that's the difference. The ZV-1 looks like it's a lot more closer to my face than the XS10. How's the sound? Again, they both sound, I have the wind muff on the ZV-1 and I have an external microphone on the XS10. Also, how are the colors? Which ones do you guys prefer for the colors? They're both on standard profiles. No tweaking, no anything. How does it look? This is if I frame myself better with the ZV-1, and this is if I'm framing myself with the XS10. Does it look jerky while I turn? How does it look? Next up, I want to show you guys how it looks in low light. The ZV-1 goes as low as f1.8 on the lens that it comes with, and on the lens that I'm testing on the XS10 XF 16mm f2.8. So how does it look there? That's as low as it goes, f2.8. This is f1.8. I can tell you right now that it makes a big difference. The ZV-1 lets in a lot more light right out of the box. You don't have to buy another lens like you would have to if you got the XS10, which is more expensive. So what do you guys think? Is it exposing okay for my face? What are the colors like? All right, let's get to it. Let's see how they do in low light. All right, now that I'm back, I just want to say this camera is an amazing camera. I'm really happy with my purchase. I did buy this camera. I'm really happy with the purchase of this camera. This camera, shout out to Delray Camera. That's where I bought it from. Those guys are awesome. If you guys are in the South Florida area, please check out Delray Camera. Look them up online, look them up on Facebook. Those guys are really good, really helpful, really knowledgeable. Check out Delray Camera. So, back to it. The ZV-1 versus my XS10. I love the XS10. I am really glad that I switched from Canon to the XS10 for the colors alone. The colors and the ease of use. And all of the lenses that I know are already from the first party that came out for this X mount. Now I know there's a lot more that I'm waiting for. The Sigma f1.4, which I would love to do a comparison when that does come out on that lens versus this lens. That one at f1.4 and this one at f1.8. Again, if you guys are looking for a camera to start off making YouTube videos, this is a vlogger's friend right here. The vlogger's friend. There's not much else you need. I mean, maybe a grip, maybe a tripod, mini tripod, and that's it. You're good to go. If you want to just start shooting yourself, want to get the hang of things, get the hang of using it. I will say the thing that I noticed the most is the LCD screen. The LCD screen on the XS10 was a lot easier to see with polarized glasses, and the screen on this one, if you have polarized glasses, it's hard to see. You're not going to be able to see what's on the screen. So that's one of my gripes, the LCD screen and polarized glasses. The second gripe is the menu system. I'm not a fan of the menu system at all. The XS10 has a pretty good one. They're all pretty much labeled what they are for video, for sound, for photos. And then you have the settings, the My Settings. You want to change any settings. So it's a lot easier than here. You have several different ones and it's hard to tell which one is which or what functions are in which menu. So those are my two gripes for this camera. Other than that, this is an awesome little camera. Definitely a pickup if you guys are looking for something small, something compact, and something to shoot up to 4K because it has awesome autofocus. The autofocus, as you guys can see, some of my shots outside, the XS10 was struggling to keep me in focus. This had no issues. The intelligent auto built into this thing makes it a beginner's friend. Just turn it on, put it on intelligent auto, and hit record. Set your resolution, of course, to whatever you want it to be. Set your resolution and hit record, and you're good to go with this camera. It is half the price of the XS10. Half the price right now. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay half the price, but right now it's half the price, and it's well worth it. If you're looking to shoot YouTube videos, Check this out. Can't go wrong. Also, again, if you guys stayed with me for this long, stay tuned to the next video. The next video, I will be talking about my camera backpack just bought. It's called ZV-1. I hope I'm saying it right. I'll put a link in the description when I shoot that video. But if you are, stay tuned. It's a nice backpack. It's a quarter of the cost of some of those higher end camera backpacks, but this one has a lot of space. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for clicking on the video. I appreciate every single one of y'all. This has been 2 times R. Until the next one, peace.